Hi guys, my name is Yash. I'm a ACBA certified business analyst, and today we'll be continuing with our 90-second question of our BA interview series. So let's begin. So this is a very personal question, uh, and this is about the experience that I had as a BDM in Hubcode IT Services. So that's why the interviewer asked, "Why did you stay so long in the same role?" I'll answer. Initially, my focus was on growing within the opportunities available in my role, and over time, the company gave me exposures beyond pure sales activities. I gradually became involved in client onboarding, requirements discussion, scoping, coordination with delivery teams, and solution oriented conversation. Because the organization had a lean structure, I got the opportunity to work across multiple responsibilities, which helped me build strong communication, stakeholder management, and business understanding skills. As my exposure increased, I realized I was naturally more interested in analytical and problem solving side of projects, which eventually led me towards business analysis. So, as you can see, the question is, why did you stay so long in the same role? So I have answered. Initially, my focus was on growing within the opportunities available in my role, and over time, the company gave me exposure beyond pure sales activities. I gradually became involved in client onboarding, requirements discussion, scoping, coordination with delivery teams, and solution oriented conversation. So, this was something which I did during my BDM job at Hubcode IT Services. So I was involved in client onboarding, requirements discussion, because I had to practically meet the clients and make sure that I sell them the product well while understanding the business priorities and constraints, scoping, coordination with delivery teams, because whenever there were requirements by the clients, after going forward with the deal, we used to discuss with the delivery design teams about how a phased plan approach can work. And obviously, solution oriented conversations were something which were always there, because as a BDM, I was there to solve a problem, not just not just sell a solution, right? It was to solve a problem and eventually give a presentation that would actually have clarity for the client of how the project is going to go. Because it was a startup, it had a very lean structure. I got the opportunity to work across multiple responsibilities, which you do in the startup, right? So, this helped me build a strong communication, stakeholder management, and business understanding skills. So, when you meet people as a BDM, when you discuss with them the problems, when you understand the requirements, when you understand the business constraints and the value it is going to have on their business, eventually you have good communication, right? You should have good communication, otherwise you won't do a good job, because I think the core BDM or a BA skill is good communication. Then comes stakeholder management, which is super important. Stakeholder can be the customer, stakeholder can be the person who has initiated the project, stakeholder can be your team. So stakeholder management is super important because there can be difficult conflicting stakeholders. So managing them well, strategically, having a problem solving approach, and having empathy also goes a long way. And obviously business understanding skills. I think you learn this as you take on experiences. So that's something which can be learned very well. So as my exposure increased, I realized I was naturally more interested in analytical and problem solving side of projects, because I think that's what I love to do. Whenever I did that, I felt at ease, I felt good. So that's why I've switched, planned to switch from BDM to business analysis. So that's that. This is a very personal question, and this can be asked to you also. You can give your own answer in that. I don't think so. I need to explain you, but I explained you the way I approach this question. Okay, that is something which I want you to learn. I approached this question very strategically. I told them that my focus was growing opportunities in my available role, but I gradually because became involved in client onboarding, requirements discussion, scoping, coordination with delivery teams, which is a part of business analysis. So I showed them that even though I was a BDM, because of a startup structure, it was a very lean structure. So I got into client onboarding, I got into scoping, coordination with delivery teams. Then I worked across multiple responsibilities, which made me which helped me build strong communication skills, stakeholder management, and business understanding skills, which are essential for a business analyst. So, I mentioned at the last, as my exposure increased, I realized I was naturally more interested in the problem solving or analytical side of projects, which eventually led me towards business analyst. So, anyway, thanks so much for watching.